Welcome back to a new episode of Code Talk. I'm Mark.
I'm Gary.
Gary, we got 6 months in the books.
Yes, we do.
And we've had a lot of new changes with the city.
Yes, we have.
New mayor, new city manager, a lot of new people, now a lot of new faces coming on board. And with all these new faces, we've had some changes in the city. And our solid waste program has made one change. And with us today, we now have solid waste manager Aaron Redd with us today. So a little clap for him to coming on board.
Thank you for having me.
He's going to give us some new information about bulk trash and our solid waste program.
That's right.
So tell us about the new procedure for bulk trash with solid waste.
Sure. So as you might remember, previously we collected bulk trash on a set schedule. So we had 57 zones that we would service twice a year. So an individual might receive a service in January and then a service again in July. Well, under our new arrangement, residents can now schedule appointments by appointment. So they would call in to 623-773-7890 or email us at bulktrash@peoriaaz.gov or even fill out an online request on peoriaaz.gov/bulk trash.
Has the pricing changed for?
There is no price.
If I got to call you up maybe a third time?
Yes. So remember, under our old arrangement, residents had 2 collections included in their bulk trash or normal bulk trash fees. That has not changed. The only thing that has changed is the resident now gets the ability to choose when those appointments or that collection will happen. If residents go past those 2 scheduled collections, then there's a special fee incurred.
So I have a question for you, is that we deal with a lot of these people that have been living here in this city for many, many years, over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I remember when we had 1 bulk trash and then we moved to 2 about 7, 8 years ago. So what do I tell that citizen why the change now after all that time where they had the bulk trash, went to 2 free bulk trashes, now you have to call it in to pick it up? What would be a good way to explain it to them that the city went to this change or solid waste went to this change for the city and the community?
Great question. I would say the 2 words would be flexibility and then efficiency. So when we looked at our bulk trash program the past few years, we found that each year, at best, only about 30% of our residents use the collection. So imagine our crews traveling down each and every street twice a year, whether or not a bulk trash pile was out. So we had to think about our, if this was the best way for us to use our resources. Of course, fuel has increased, inflation has increased, wages have increased. And so we had to think about the best way to service our residents, giving them the same amount of service, if not better, and better ways to do that. So we looked at a couple of cities across the valley. Surprise, the city of Surprise is actually already doing a by appointment bulk trash collection. The city of Mesa also does the same. And as we spoke to those individuals, they found that there were many benefits to going to that type of collection.
So my other question would be, if I'm the citizen of the city of Peoria and I'm like thinking it's going to be scheduled, like if I had it in January or April, and I put all my stuff out, and then I find out, okay, I got all my stuff out, there's no bulk trash coming through the neighborhoods, then I find I have to contact solid waste. So I contact you guys, and then you guys give me a time frame between a couple weeks, a couple months out. Do you guys contact me as an individual that put the stuff out too early? What's the time parameters? When should I put the items out? When should I leave it out versus pulling it back and putting it back out before you guys come?
Great question. And so it really comes down to, we really haven't changed the bulk trash guidelines as far as placement is concerned. Under our old arrangement, we asked that the residents place the items out only a day in advance, and that hasn't changed. So we ask our residents to receive once they receive the confirmation via email, or if they call and we're able to give them a confirmation number, then they can, plan to place those items out. So, for instance, if let's just say the date is July 1st, well, then on June 30th is when our residents will place items out for collection. It can get a little bit problemsome when those items are out more than one day in advance.
And we get those complaints over here on the city code side, and then we got to go out there and sometimes educate them. You have solid waste inspectors that will also follow up on that as well if the item's been out there for too long or they don't have an appointment, correct?
That is correct.
From the code perspective, please listen to that part, because that is like one of our biggest complaints is everybody will start putting their bulk trash out way too many days in advance. And then you have a big, huge pile in the street, and then that's when our complaints start coming in, because other citizens, they don't know that they've scheduled for a bulk trash pickup. So just be a little bit respectful for your neighbors, and vehicles still have to get down this roadway, and if you pile up stuff, it just becomes a big problem for the city. So
On that note, if you're the one that puts it out, then what transpires is then the neighbor thinks the bulk trash is coming through like in years past, and then you get more piles. And that causes more havoc on the streets, and that's just more contact for solid waste inspectors or us as code officers. The one thing I do like about this new program that you guys have, it lessens what we call urban miners, where they go through the piles themselves and pull out all the metals or anything of value, and you don't have that nice pile that the individual citizen put out there. Now it's all spread out through a couple yards or across the street, and then it just looks like a dump pile. And then you start having people dumping into it. So to me, it keeps the streets a little more cleaner because you don't have piles of area of the house. And basically when you have it on the time parameter where you make an appointment, it seems like it does keep it a little bit, the neighborhood's a little more clean.
Yes,
I appreciate
and that's correct. And to add on to that, it's also has to deal with a matter of safety. Many times residents, noticed that individuals would, kind of snoop through their piles, and they were uncomfortable with that, especially with children around. So this gives us the opportunity to, kind of mitigate that. And so now, a day in advance, not a whole lot of people know about that schedule. So you do it when it's convenient for you. You have the appointment, so you and your family and your household know when the trash will be out.
On that note, how many crews do you have physically working for the city just on bulk trash? Because I can't imagine how many solid waste and drivers that you have out there on a daily basis. So how many people do you actually have working the bulk trash program at any given time throughout the city?
So we have 2 crews, and those 2 crews are made up of 2 individuals. I know that before there was kind of like with special hauls, there was this north crew and there was a south crew. Well, now the city is divided into 4 zones based on the day of collection. And so those 2 crews work together to collect all of the piles in each individual zone.
So obviously Peoria being a very long city, that does, create some good challenges for you guys, and you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Obviously, one of the problems that we have in code is that when they call for pickup for bulk trash, there's a lot of items that you guys don't take and you can't take to the landfill. Can you kind of give us a little bit refresher and our citizens a little bit of refresher on what they can put in and what they can't put in to make the collection a little bit easier?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing would be hazardous waste. So motor oil, paint thinners, oil-based paint, those things are definitely not allowed. We've had a few truck fires because of it. We call those hot loads, and that just basically means that individuals have put chemicals or other, prohibited items in their bulk trash, and as a result, these become combustible and they start a fire inside of the hopper. Now, fortunately, we haven't lost any trucks as a result, any bulk trash trucks as a result, but that's something that we want to stay away from. The next thing that we want to stay away from are auto parts. So engines, transmissions, those types of things we want to stay away from. Also construction materials, so concrete, bricks, drywall, those things are not allowed in the bulk trash pile. And finally, glass. So windows, shower glass doors, as you can imagine, when those things are placed in the hopper, they explode. They may track across the street, and now there's a chance for injury or even flat tires from any individuals who drive over that.
Trust me, we've gone through a lot of tires just driving the city streets when there's a lot of glass out there. So, obviously, I can speak for myself and everybody in code and Gary that, this solid waste program is a great program. It helps out the community and helps us out because, we do get a lot of debris cases, and then, we can use, this program to our benefit and the citizens' benefit. So it's a good team effort to keep the city clean, and this is a great benefit for you guys out in the community to keep using. Even if you use up your two pickups, don't hesitate to call them and use them as a third pickup or fourth pickup so we can keep our community really nice and clean.
Not only that, but safe, because you don't have people going through the bulk trash. And just safety, I mean, that alone is a big step for this community, is have that safety out there.
The one thing that I did want to add is that we have been able to turn around times. So, in other words, there were 6 months in between bulk trash collections. Now, on the average across the city, it's anywhere from 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Now, we do have areas in which the demand is heavier than others, and so as those wait times start to expand, we have been working with our residents to reduce those times, even coming out of our normal collection zone to care for our residents. So it's obviously only been 6 months in, so no program is perfect in 6 months. But we're doing a good job, and we're getting some really good reviews and some compliments that are coming from our residents. So thank you so much.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on and educating us on the new procedure for solid waste and bulk trash pickup. So we really appreciate it, and I know I can speak from the code side and Gary that all your guys' hard work has been very beneficial for the city and keeping the city safe and cleaned up. So tell you, the men and women down at Solid Waste, we really appreciate all their hard work. And thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is another installment of Code Talk. I'm Mark.
I'm Gary.
And I'm Aaron.